Hi guys, and welcome to Legion Live episode 4. So this week we've got me, as you can see. Next to me we've got Idic Beer. And then all the way over there we've got Chris Curious Orange. I'm just going to stick with that. Below me we've got Callum from Tabletop Banter. Down that way some way we've got Phil. And then all the way in the opposite corner, we've got the Warp Forge. Right, okay, so just looking at the chat, you can see we've got Tattoo for You and Tom the Ascendant in there at the moment. Hi guys, hope you're both okay, and hopefully you enjoy the show. Right, so we may as well just jump in with the first topic. Just a moment. Legion and channel news. Right, so we've got it was fine. Anyway, moving on. That was a homage to someone that's on all our minds this week. Right. So what we thought we'd do this week is we're going to try and use putting up some images to sort of illustrate what we're talking about. We ran out of prep time, so this might be a bit of a car crash, but we'll give it a go. Right, so basically we're going to use this to illustrate what people have been doing. So I think looks like Idic Beer's up first.
Okay, so yeah, I've been working on my raiders this week, and as you can see they no longer have paint on, so I've been stripping them down, and I've also made a tutorial on how to strip miniatures, and it's going to be like a series of videos as well, so I'm going to not only just doing like the stripping side of it, but how to restore them as well, how to fix some of the bits and pieces, etc. So I've been working on that along with, of course, the Space Wolves. So I had the update today, and I did a bit more painting today as well, so more to come on the Space Wolves shortly, hopefully, as well. But yeah, that's what I've been up to this week.
Okay, and this, I think, was...
that was fine, yeah. Currently working on Gruck. Kind of accidentally used the wrong shade of green for his skin, but I can easily fix it up here and there.
He's looking a bit bright, isn't he?
Yeah, at the moment I just need to darken it up with green wash and then just do highlights of the mixture of the current shade with the lighter shade, then just a lighter shade for the really fine highlights, and that's all him done. After I've done that, because I'm currently looking at the miniature as well. But I'm pleased how the armor came off and all that, and I'm just waiting to do him with 10 knobs of big choppers and 10 trucks, and then I have to do 10 mega knobs.
Fantastic. So that's him. We've got something from Callum here, I think.
Yeah, so this is a picture of my latest custom character model. He is Dorgon Tavarius, the chaplain of the Kakarian Crimsons. The idea is I've got my custom chapter and everything, and this is one of the characters from the book I'm writing. It's only a little short story, aiming for around 8,000, 9,000 words, just to give like a fluff overview of the army I'm making. And yeah, so this is the chaplain. Chaplain, yeah. He's that good.
So be a type of space marine.
Probably is somewhere. But yeah, so basically he's just the chaplain for the Kakarian Crimsons, and well, there you go. That's about it, really.
Awesome. Right, who have we got next then? There we go. I think this is Phil.
Yeah, this is one of my Void Scorpion Terminators that I've converted from some old lead Terminators that I had kicking around for a long time. And I've basically just added some spare lightning claws from the Betrayal of Alpha box set that I had kicking around, and some shoulder pads and bits and pieces like that.
Oh yeah. And
sort of bulked them up and sort of made them look a bit more dramatic than the old sort of standard Road Trader Terminators. So that's what I've been doing really. I've sort of been putting some paint on them.
Fantastic. So I'm going to apologise in a minute when it comes to 9 o'clock and people are coming back because we kind of told them to bugger off. But carry on regardless. Now, what have we got? So this is a sort of angle of the squad then, I'm guessing.
That's right, yeah, squad picture.
Fantastic.
Yeah, I've also for Nick's purposes as well. I've got like a epic fail on stripping some old plastic models as well. for when Nick puts up his paint stripping videos and stuff, I've got some pictures to send him of some bad results I've had.
Awesome. Okay, these.
Oh yeah, that's my Age of Sigmar minis.
Is that for the skirmish section or?
It's kind of more for the hobby update because you can play
go for it.
Age of Sigmar in any which way. But as you saw from last Legion Live, Harry and I got into Age of Sigmar, and this is just a nice little picture of my Glade Guard Wood Elves. Just started a new series, shameless plug alert, on the channel called Gathering the Glade, where we're just going to see me build up a Wood Elf army. And Harry has told me that he will even do some showcasing videos for YouTube of his chaos. So yeah, just something new and different coming to the channel.
Awesome. Right, what have we got here?
That's me again. Yeah, I was basically these are the command models for the Void Scorpions that I've put onto a scenic base and so on. I'm going to be doing a video on these guys for the Jam Jar Achievable April sort of challenge as well. So yeah, basically going to try and progress those a little bit further as well.
Awesome. Right, what have we got next?
That was for the skirmish section.
Okay. That is really zoomed in. That's not much better. Right, okay. So that looks like it was the last picture. For me, you've seen what I'm doing from the videos that I'm on. I am making a venture back into 40k, so that will feature heavily on the channel again with the old Dark Eldar. I've finally given in, and I'm doing Dark Eldar again. So
the crowd goes wild.
That's been a lot of fun. I've been really enjoying it so far. So hopefully I'm going to get some games in. Right. Okay. So I guess what we've got next is another funky scene change.
What?
Are we ready? Okay.
Topic for discussion.
There we go. So this week's topic. So we had two very close topics at the end of the poll that ended last week, well, 2 weeks ago, and the two forerunners, or at least the winner, was the Age of Sigmar, which I think we did a beautiful job of last week and didn't murder in any way, shape, or form.
Not at all.
And then there was also a second runner-up, which we decided, because it was so close, we would have this week to talk about. So this is our favourite skirmish games, and basically just why we enjoy skirmish games, and that essentially. So if somebody wants to kick us off, I'm going to go with the Warp Forge. If you want to talk about one of yours.
Oh yeah, well, get ready for 7.5 hours of Batman. Yeah, this is by far my favourite game of all time because, number one, it's Batman. What can I say? You know, okay. Arkham Rogues, you've got your Joker, Bane, Mr. Freeze, Scarecrow, Two-Face, etc. You've got the Bat Family, you've got Batman. They've got many varieties of Batman to play in the game, from Christopher Nolan's Batman to Arkham Knight Batman to even Adam West's Batman.
Wow.
Who even has rules for the Chakra Power as well.
Alright.
So that was great. You've got a load of variety of choices within special characters, so like Deathstroke, you've got Black Manta. They're doing a few metahumans now these days, like Cyborg from the Teen Titans. You've got Hawkman and Hawkgirl. You've got you're getting a load. Currently, this month as well, they are releasing their expansion, their first expansion for the game called the Flash and Arrow. Now, hopefully, it will be more based on the CW variants because they've already done Stephen Amell's Arrow as a leader for the Green Arrow team because you've got a gang of them. And we're hoping to see more CW stuff from them. The game is basically based around an alternate unit activation system, heavily focusing on objectives, using counter-based mechanics. So when you buy a mini, you usually get a little stack card.
Alright.
And it opens up and you get all the rules inside. And these help in a big way for placing counters and stuff, because what you do is you look at the big red number here, which is willpower 8. That's how many counters a character can generate. Now, this is from the Red Hood Joker, and leaders technically have more counters, so they can pull off more actions, as opposed to your standard like henchman, who'll just be like willpower 4 and can't really do that much, as opposed to a leader.
Yeah.
To do anything, you need to spend counters, so usually you get like a free set movement, and then after that, if you want to do any additional movements or change your movement to a specific type of movement, you spend counters. So if you want to run, you just spend like a special counter and a movement counter. If you wanted to fire a weapon, you spend 2 action counters, like fire an assault rifle. If you want to defend against your opponent from hitting you, and this is a big combat thing, is you'll spend attack count actions to do melee attacks, but if you want to defend, you'll spend defense counters to try and block these attacks from coming in. It's sort of like your arm save in that instance. Another thing that really gives you the atmosphere of Gotham City as well is that it uses 2 variants of damage. So, for example, it'll use stun damage and blood damage. Stun damage knocks people out, which is what Batman really does. He knocks people out, then police come around and just arrest people. And blood damage just straight out kills them.
So it's actually very similar to D&D, where you used to be able to do lethal and non-lethal damage.
Yeah.
The end result being either unconscious or bleeding out and dead. Yeah. Essentially. That's cool.
So, yeah, it is quite nice. It's also quite nice tactically, I also find, because if you're playing straight up kill everything, which is quite hard to do due to damage being very scarce or hard to find, and if you do, it's usually quite expensive in like squad building and all that. But stun damage is more easily to find. Is that if you go on straight up kill everything, the problem is you'll also find that it'll become a competition of how many like special characters you can put into a list and all that. What the game wants you to get these objectives that you'll have, that you get for free. You can choose 3 objectives. It's usually called Titan, ammo, and loot. So ammunition gives you more ammunition as an effect. Loot,
so like power-ups.
Yeah. Loot allows you to get... Yeah. Loot allows you to get like more victory points, which is what the game's based around of, like Maelstrom War missions and 40k. And Titan Dose allows you to get extra strong, because you basically take what Bane takes on a regular.
That's interesting.
So it really focuses on these objectives, and the missions revolve around these objectives as well. So it gives a very balanced atmosphere, so it doesn't feel like you're just trying to go all out on the kill every game, and you want to be getting these objectives so you can win the game instead.
Yeah. I think there's a lot of skirmish games. I think most of the ones we're going to talk about today, they're very heavily based on objectives as opposed to just all-out killing.
Yeah.
That seems to be a running theme. There's also a fair few. You mentioned the spending of counters to do actions and things. There's quite a few that do that as well.
Yeah.
So I think we're going to see a lot of similarities across the board.
Oh,
What I
yeah.
haven't seen is the whole idea of getting power-ups like in like in a computer game. I don't know whether it's still the case in 40k, but you used to have the occasional objective that did something. Like one of them might be a Skyfire.
Yeah, that's still the
Nexus.
case.
Yeah.
That's still in it, is it?
Yeah.
Well,
Well, that's
yeah.
fun.
That's what the Titan Dose does in a sense, because...
Still in there, but probably most people don't use it.
Yeah.
True.
Is it that annoying?
Yeah.
It's hard
Yeah.
to keep track of, to be fair, isn't it?
Exactly.
How is it kept
It's
track
just,
of?
yeah, it's
in,
remembering it, basically.
Yeah.
Uh,
Is there a special way in Batman to keep track of it, or?
Yeah, for victory points, just get like a notepad, and everything's recorded in victory points, so at the end of every turn you'll get a set number of victory points for every guy you've knocked out, killed, or objectives that you've planned. In addition, every mission has different specific missions that grant you extra victory points, so that there's very little chance of a tie. As long as you've got like a small notebook and you just keep a tally chart for each turn, you should be fine, and at the end of the turn just count up how many victory points you've gained throughout the turn, and then just mark at the end of the turn.
Okay.
That's cool. Just gonna pop up some pictures here, so you can see over there. I got the angle right, hooray! For the Batman miniatures.
Yeah. The miniatures in question are on the image at Heath Ledger's Joker at the front. You've got the Mad Hatter as a leader for the Wonderland gang on the left. You've got Deathstroke from the Arkham Origins variant on the right, and at the back you've got the Arkham Knight from the video game.
Oh, right, cool.
So they do a wide variety. They don't just do the comics. They do a wide variety of media from video game and the comics and movies.
I must admit, I did see that they'd done Arrow and Flash.
Yeah.
So I tend to be more into that side of things than I am into the other one. I've also seen that they've released a Marvel game recently, which has got all the Avengers and whatnot in it.
Yeah. At the moment, what they're trying to do is they're doing the Marvel Miniatures game, which is basically focusing on the superheroes rather than like all the gang warfare and henchman side. So for the starter sets at the moment, you've got Guardians of the Galaxy, X-Men, and the Avengers. They have few expansions, so to say, which is basically additional like minis to add to your gang, to your squads, like Deadpool. You've got Nova, you've got Black Panther. This month you've got Groot, and you've got Gambit. So I think cool. Groot's going to be a massive fan favourite there. I think Deadpool as well.
Are the models, are they metal or resin or?
They are white pewter metal.
Yeah.
So they can be a little bit of a pain in the backside to glue together, but if you've worked with metal before, it's usually clean in here and there. Glue it in.
Yeah.
I actually like painting metal models as well. There's something to do with the texture of the metal. I really like the way it paints.
Mm.
I think I'm the opposite. I can't get on with metal at all. I found, I mean, it might just be the fact with Infinity Miniatures, but what I've found with metal is that they tend to, whereas in plastic, when you've got a detail, it's very obvious. They put like it's a pocket, it's a proper bulging pocket. I mean, if you had that pocket on your actual self, it'd stick out like an inch just for the seam. And that takes to washes much better than I've found on the metals, where they basically just scribe a tiny little line in it, and that's the outline for the pocket. And I had real trouble painting Infinity because of that.
I find
that's just them.
Maybe it's different. Yeah. Maybe it's
I find I'm just not strong enough to lift a metal model. It's just too much effort. I can't do it.
Yeah.
Is that because you cut your hair off?
I know. I'm actually Samson.
I've dropped my Terminators a few times because they're so heavy.
Yeah.
I bet there's some dents in the floor as well.
Yeah.
As long as you don't have the metal dreadnought in the sock.
Yeah. I remember I was saying to Callan with the night, I had, when I collected Space Wolves for, I think it was our 2nd or 3rd edition, I had a full white metal Bjorn. The Space Wolf dreadnought was absolutely ridiculous. And I put one of his foot on an actual like rock, so it just made it even worse, and the whole thing was ridiculous.
Right.
It's safe to say that it never stayed in one piece. There was arms glued back on, and you could see the seams where the super glue had gone. It was lovely. It was awful.
Yeah, no one mugged you anyway. No one mugged.
No, exactly. Absolute nightmare.
I remember having the metal Changer of Ways, the Great Demon of Zinch, and that was a pain in the backside, especially when you had to like pin the wings together because they never stayed open. So it's got this massive pin sticking out the back. Like I can't file or clip it off or anything because it'll just fall apart again.
Yeah, I think talking of metal minis, now might be a good time to sort of switch to a different skirmish game, looking at Mike's stuff with Dead Man's Hand. Perhaps just keep it flowing.
Mm-hmm.
If you're still awake.
Yeah. Hello?
Oh, I think your audio is gone.
Oh yeah, Mike, do you want to change your audio? Just like on off?
Oh.
Can you hear me now?
Hey.
Yes. Okay. Cool. I was gonna. Dead Man's Hand.
All the technical problems.
And talking about killing, basically, no objectives. Your objective is to kill every last man standing, basically. It's 27 pages of rules. Make your own terrain. There's no kind of limits or limitations on what you need. 2 foot by 2 foot board or gaming area. You need between 5 and 10 models. You've got like a gang boss or a leader for your lawmen or your desperados or your cowboys or whoever, whatever gang you fancy. And it's basically just the rulebook provides you with different scenes, like from your favorite Hollywood movies almost, where you go and you can kind of play them through, where you're after the kind of top bad guy and stuff, and you're basically going into to kill, like I say, kill every last man standing. It's really good. I mean, I really like the theme of the Western style of stuff, which is pretty cool. But yeah, I mean, it's all initiative driven. You get a deck of cards with different rules on your cards, and you deal out the cards to your gang, so between 5 and 10 cards out at a time, and whoever's got highest initiative gets to draw first, obviously, because you're quicker on the draw, and then a couple of dice, a d20 and a d10 to roll for shooting, and one to roll to test your nerve, and that's it. I mean, it's really, really good, really quick, yeah, like I say, it's no objectives on this one. It's just kill them all, kill them all.
Strange.
I like that, actually.
It's really good, really fast paced, and like I say, for my like I've been trying to learn 40k for 30 years, and I just can't do it. But the 27-page rulebook is nice for my small brain. So it's it's really good.
Yeah.
Kind of just sounds like you've got to ask yourself if you're feeling lucky, punk.
All the time, absolutely. I know, not well, yeah. But no, it's really good, really good. It's but they're releasing a new game out now, the Chicago Way, which is all about the kind of Prohibition era, where you're up against the moonshiners, and you can be the Chicago cops or the feds and stuff, or Elliot Ness, and
so cool.
So that's going to be pretty good. I think same sort of rule set, same kind of initiative.
The Dead Man Hands game, is it very historical, or is it just the setting?
No. I mean, it is the setting. I mean, some of the special characters you can get Wild Bill and Buckshot Roberts. I mean, I think he really existed, but most of the characters are made up, and it's just you kind of take your favourite cowboy and western movies and kind of put it into the game, but no, not historically accurate, but you could make it historically accurate. And I kind of forget that the Old West or the Wild West, I don't know what the correct term is, that it actually happened. You kind of think it's made up, it's a kind of fictional world, but it really did happen, didn't it? So it's my kind of foray into historical games. And like I say, you can make it historical.
Is there Native Americans in it as well, or is it
there are not actually. No. There isn't a Native American Indian gang. Actually, no. I mean, they're releasing ones all the time. They've just released the first full female gang. But there's bush rangers you can have. They've kind of moved it to Australia, the Australian outback as well. But no native. There's some Native American. Oh no, there's banditos. There's some Mexican guys. And there's some American Indians, or Native American Indians in the kind of, I think they're desperados actually. So yeah. But it's lots.
I'm assuming. But again, I'm assuming there's quite a good character creation thing in the game as well.
Absolutely.
I mean, you make your own character up. So.
You could well do. It's kind of gives you the element to do that, and what you'd need to do to create your own characters, and weapon choices and stuff. But you buy a box gang is 7 miniatures for 20 quid or 18 quid if you go to your local, friendly game store with 10% off. And but again, like painting those metal minis. I'm old, so I like the old metal minis. I like the weight of a metal mini. So,
yes, isn't it?
But I mean, I do. I mean, I appreciate the detail does suffer, but really kind of just thematic and interesting. Sparks my interest. It does. I mean, I know we're talking about skirmish games today, but I thought I was going to get into bolt action, but it's too many miniatures to paint, I thought. But this is
really the man with a legion of
well, I don't mind if they're red. I couldn't find a historical red army, but
red army.
Paint them all shot up.
Yeah.
You mentioned that there's no like objectives. So is that by design, or do you think they might come out with objectives for it? They haven't designed them yet, or
the whole thing was the whole game set was a trilogy. They've released 3 rule books. So you start off with Dead Man's Hand, and then there was 4 gangs attached to the initial game, and then they released the Legend of Dead Man's Hand, which introduced another 4 gangs, and then Dead Man's Hand Down Under, which was your Aussie kind of outback type stuff, which introduced another 4 gangs, I think. But no, I mean, you can make up your own rules. They have got the scenes in the game where you can create your own objectives, I suppose. But I do like playing the old kind of Western movies where you're just going into town and shooting the place up and causing havoc.
All right.
And yeah, I mean, but yeah, you could, to be fair, I mean, you could go in and rob the bank and stuff and try and get away from the lone sheriff or something. But yeah, it's the kind of movement around the board and those kind of tactical choices of where you're going to go and who you're going to go for, and that use of initiative, those initiative cards is really key. Obviously, whoever can draw first is on the front foot, to be honest. So yeah, no, it's a pretty good game, to be honest. Like I say, easy to learn, and quite enjoy making the scenery for it as well. It's quite good, the older the boards and stuff for it.
So the way of the turn-basedness of it, is it everybody does their models first, or is it like X-Wing where you go by the initiative order?
Yeah, by initiative. You
Oh, right, so there's a lot more backwards and forwards.
Yeah, everyone starts off with their own deck of cards. You draw the top card of your deck. Whoever's got the highest card gets initiative, and then you deal out cards to however many players, however many are in your gang, and then you kind of turn them over one at a time, and whoever's got the highest initiative of your turn will go next, effectively. So
right, okay.
Just trying to decide who to turn over and who you want to do stuff. But yeah, it's pretty good. It's pretty good. But it's all about holding your nerve and kind of not shooting until you see the whites of their eyes and all that sort of stuff. But no, it's pretty good. But really easy as well. I wish 40k was as easy. It's
Don't we all?
Well, having just said that, Mike,
I'll get there one day.
that probably brings it nicely on to me, because
Yeah, sure.
when we first decided we were going to do skirmish games and talk about that, I thought, what could I talk about? I'll probably talk about attack wing or something. But I was actually inspired today to have a 40k skirmish game with my daughter. She's nearly 8, and we played 70 points. And I'll tell you what, it was really good fun. She really enjoyed it. It lasted about 20 minutes. What I noticed was, because it was obviously a much smaller point game, was that the rules that we actually used from the book as such to play that game was very limited amount of rules. Basically, it was just like moving. We didn't even run. But it was basically moving, shooting, using rough terrain tests, a bit of overwatching, and then a bit of an assault. And obviously, I controlled the game as we were playing, but she rolled some dice and she definitely enjoyed it. I won't tell you the result because I did actually film the game. So
okay.
it's going to be a couple of weeks, because I'm quite heavily scheduled on videos at the moment. But in a couple of weeks' time, the battle report will be up with me playing my 8-year-old daughter at a skirmish 40k game. So ever the 40k game out, I thought I'd bring that into tonight's talking point. So what's the smallest point games any of you have played for 40k?
Smallest points game.
Yeah.
300, I think, maybe 400.
Harry and I played 150 in a kill team game, the Heralds of Ruin sort of set they made, the fan-written skirmish rules for 40k.
Yeah.
In fact, we did record a few games, and we're still planning on doing the whole skirmish narrative campaign thing we had planned a while back. We just hadn't found the time together to do that. But we really enjoyed it. It brings a whole new element to the game.
It does, and to be fair, we played on a small board. Actually, my army display board. I don't know the exact size, but it's probably about 1.5 foot by a couple of foot. Excuse me. And with the terrain on it, it actually looked really good, the board. And we had 5 models each. I had 5 Necron Warriors, and she had 5 Gene Stealers. So we were near 70 points. I think I had 65 and she had 70. Yeah. And we just played a quick game, and it was really good fun. And she enjoyed it enough to say she wanted another game. So after we played that game, we stopped the recording and we had another game. We swapped armies and had another game. So we had 2 games.
Awesome.
So that was really good, yeah.
So I was just trying to get a picture of the game up there. So that's, I'm guessing, the deployment, is it?
That's it, yeah, that's deployment, exactly, yeah.
So we got Tyranids and Necrons.
Yeah, Gene Stealers versus Warriors.
Right. What size table is that? Is that a foot, or is it more?
I don't know the exact dimensions. My little army display board, so it's probably about 1.5 foot by, I don't know, it's slightly rectangular, so.
Okay.
Awesome.
Yeah, I mean, Harry and I played our kill team game on a 4x4 board. So it was very scattered. So you had like 5-man squads and a couple of individual like guys, because we played some chaos, so they take their cultists in squads. And we had the individual space marines, and it gave that kind of really awesome visual effect of them like actually running through a city.
Sure.
Which is what I really, really loved about it.
I used the rules that I'd read somewhere where you take the models in a unit, but when they go down on the table, they act as individual models.
Okay.
So we had we had a unit of 5, say, Necron warriors, but they're actually all individual models. They all shoot at different targets and assault different targets. That's how we played it. I'd read some rules once about a Skirmish 40k game like that, so that's how I played it. It worked out quite well.
Sort of a kill team sort of.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. I think you have 200 points to begin with or something. You spread it out.
But actually, I'd like to go back to what Jacob was talking about with Batman, because as far as I can tell, Batman doesn't have any dice rolling. Is that right?
It does have dice. Well, it has a special mechanic.
Jacob, are you there?
When you're doing the dice damaging mechanic, you roll the dice to see if you hit the target. They roll for any blocks or anything. After you've done that, once you roll to like wounds, to say, as in Batman it's called 2 damage, but it's basically like rolling to 140k. You've got a special dice free of charge. You have to nominate it as a different colour so that your opponent can keep track of it. And on a roll of a 6, if your weapon has any special like powers or anything, it'll activate those special powers. So for example, Mr. Freeze, how he has the freeze gun, refrigeration gun, he'll shoot somebody, damage somebody. On a roll of a 6 with the collateral damage dice, he freezes the target still, and it basically just means that that one model can't move. I've had games where I've used Mr. Freeze, he's thrown a freeze grenade, I managed to freeze the likes of Swamp Thing, which is meant to be like some sort of green god.
Yeah.
So
That's cool.
it's quite a nice little thing.
Yeah.
Right, I guess I wanted to have a quick chat about...
Yeah, so it does have dice then, because I've obviously been playing Wings of Glory.
Hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think we might have a slight audio issue, I'm not sure.
Yeah, I think Nick is.
Hello?
Yeah,
Hello?
I can hear everyone.
Yeah, I think it's Nick's end.
it's a bit.
Oh dear.
Nick's.
Has he muted us by accident?
Or on purpose.
Can he hear anything?
I guess we'll never know.
No. Because if somebody messages him... I was just going to talk about Infinity as the
Hello?
first one. I've got a couple I wanted to bring up.
I can.
Is he seeing the messages we're sending?
I'm just about to send one now.
This is really strange.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Infinity, you've got you take all of your actions on your turn, and then the opposition takes their turn. But instead of using sort of initiative where every model moves, you've got a series of counters based on the number of models you take, and then that then defines how many actions you can take, and you can take them all on one model if you wanted to. You can basically choose your captain or your leader. I'm not sure what he's called. It's been a couple of years since I played it now, and he can spend them all, and it's really strange in that way. It was just interesting hearing that they have counters in the Batman game. So, do you have to move every model in that game on its turn, Jacob?
No, when I talk about like ultimate miniature system, it's like you activate one mini, then your opponent activates their mini, then you activate
Right.
and so on and so forth. If you have less minis than your opponent, then you count the difference between the two gangs, and that's how many free passes your opponent gets, who has a smaller collection of miniatures on the board. So it keeps the sort of samey, so that you can still do the one mini, then another mini, and all that.
Oh, right. That's cool. And of course, one of the good things about Infinity is even though you're taking your turn and then your opposition is taking his turn, so there's no back and forth like there are in the other games, you have the reactions. So if you go into the line of sight, each mini has a sort of 180 degree line of sight. If you go within that line of sight and out of cover, they have the opportunity to shoot you at any point along your path. And likewise, you have the ability to shoot them at any point in your path. So it's a reduced shot, so it's not the same as you don't get your full number of dice as you would shooting back at them. But you could be in a situation where you've jumped out of cover to shoot at a model, and you've not checked your line of sight, and 3 models are shooting back at you. Now you're shooting with 3 dice, and because 3 of them have seen you, they get the choice of whether they want to hide and dodge, or if they want to shoot back. And they're shooting 3 back at you, so you've got to sort of really keep a close eye on where your miniatures are, and if you're going within line of sight of other ones. It's quite interesting in that way. So that stops the other person getting bored as well. It almost seems that a lot of the skirmish games that you see these days, they're encouraging that backwards and forwards that you don't get to see in the older games like 40k.
So you just take 40k for example. Harry and I played some bigger games recently. Apart from that really quick speed report we did, speed hammer game, we'd all get ready to do our turn. I go put the kettle on. I come back after his movement, and it was literally like that. We could have like big breaks in between turns. So unless you've got something else to do, it can get quite dull, because you're like, yeah, if you just want to move that, especially if you're playing guard like I was, where I was like, dude, just go and find something else to do. I have to move 40 guys.
Go and watch a film.
Yeah, pretty much. So, but yeah, I have found that these skirmish games are definitely more tailored to being more interactive between the 2 players.
And it just happens that the 2 games that I want to bring up tonight both use D20s.
Oh.
Which makes them very swingy. You can get some really random dice rolls. I mean, with a D6 4+, you know that it's 50-50 chance. And with the modifiers that you've got, you can pretty much work out in your head what the chances are. When you're rolling a D20 and you're looking for like 13+, there's such a wide variation of what you can actually roll on the dice. It's ridiculous. So you could be like the odds completely stacked in your favour, and the odds stacked in your favour in Warhammer is like 2+.
Yeah.
So you pretty much, you're only going to miss it in 1 in 6, whereas say the odds are stacked in your favour on a D20. It's weird. It just seems a lot more swingy, and the fact that you're rolling off against an opponent as well in both of the games that I'm going to bring up tonight. So the first one was Infinity, so that's very much opposed rolls. And the second one is gone out of my head.
Frostgrave.
Bloody hell. I've been doing videos about it for God knows how long now, and it's just completely forgot it. So again, that's very much an opposed dice roll situation. You, if you're attacking somebody, you roll a dice. The defender rolls a dice. He's got an attack which he uses as his defense, and you add it to the D20. And basically, what you're looking to do is beat the other person's dice. So you roll to hit them. Say using ranged, you're rolling to hit them. If they win, they just don't get hit. Whereas in melee, if they win, they're actually hitting you. So you can actually sort of hit each other on each other's turns. And then that same dice roll, the interesting thing about Frostgrave is that you only actually roll 1 dice. So that same dice roll, you take the person's defense, their armor off it, and that's how much damage they take. So say the person's armor is 10, and you've rolled a 13 to beat their 12, for example. That 13 minus the 10 is 3 damage. But if you roll a 20, you're doing 10 damage, and basically each model's got around about 10 health. Okay. So you can completely wipe someone off the board with 1 roll, especially if you get a 20, because that doubles it. So if you roll a 20 and their armor's 10, you're doing 20 damage in one hit. So it can be really swingy in those terms. And again, that's objective based. The main purpose of that is trying to get the treasure off the table. The same with a lot of the other skirmish games. If they don't have an obvious objective that's quite narrative, the basic versions of them is grab a thing, get it off the board, and then it's yours. And then you build up your army with the treasure that you've got, upgrade your guys. In Frostgrave you can never have more than 10 guys, and what you can do is you can fire the weaker ones and hire sort of bigger, more tough soldiers, which is quite interesting. And yeah, on that one, you've got again, it's a lot more back and forth because you've got you have your wizard, you have an apprentice, and then you've got your basic soldiers, and they've all got their own phase. So you have your wizard's phase, where your wizard, the person who's got initiative, goes, and then the opposition's wizard goes, and then the apprentice goes, and their apprentice goes, and so there's that back and forth where you're only moving 1 or 2 miniatures, sort of between 1 and 5 miniatures in each phase, and that can work. That works quite well as well in terms of stopping any boredom. Excuse me, I've got quite a bad cold at the moment. My throat's going.
That's all right.
So that was it really. Those are the two I wanted to talk about, and the reasons I enjoy them is that, I mean, Frostgrave is also a lot like D&D. In D&D you used to have 2 actions which you could spend to move, hit people, fire stuff. And again, it's the same in Frostgrave. Each character does an activation, as it were, and that involves 2 actions. So you can move and then run, or move and shoot, or move and hit, all that sort of thing.
Yeah, I think it looks pretty cool from what I've seen. I know that Harry wants to get into it. He just loves the idea of making out these really cool like wizards and apprentices.
Yeah.
And having that kind of element to it. But yeah, he's been encapsulated by all.
Well, yeah.
Yeah. But
spells can be quite narrative. If someone's standing up on a building, you can actually crumble the floor from beneath them.
That's pretty cool.
Or push them off the building with a spell from like the other side of the table. There's some really interesting spells in there. It's quite cool.
It's it also the actual source books or rule books and stuff. The art and stuff looks really good. They look like
definitely.
books.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. I got a couple of skirmish games if you want me to jump in.
Yeah, go for it.
Okay, well, first I'm going to talk about one that I was sent an email about a little while ago now by a chap whose name escapes me, but it's they're from somewhere in Germany, and they sent me a little like sprue of minis, and it's a game called Lands of Ruin. So I've done a little series on it. I definitely go and check it out. It's just past its Kickstarter goals and that, so it's actually going into production and everything, which is really cool. And they basically sent me some pre-production resin casts of their minis to build and paint, which has been really fun. I've got one of them finished and the other 3 lined up ready to finish. And the thing I like most about this skirmish game is it's kind of 3 different games in one. You've got the skirmish element with the small model count sort of activation style thing. You've then got the fact that it's also got the same rule as Infinity, where if you walk in someone's line of sight, they can react, but it works in their turn instead of instantly.
Oh, okay, so you have to keep track of who's been able to see.
Yeah, exactly. So if someone's walked
that sounds a bit complicated.
from here to here, but this is where it becomes uncomplicated.
Oh, right, okay.
To fix all of those things that could be complicated, they have an app, and part of the game is played on a phone or a tablet. So it's
interesting.
It's basically an RPG. It's part MMO as well. You play online and you can like build up a warband. So it's part RPG, part MMO, part skirmish game on a little 4x4 table. But you get to keep track of all the character stuff on the tablet app, which I thought was really unique, having not seen many things like that.
The only other one I can think of, they recently discontinued the app for it. So it's a risky venture, but hopefully it'll pay off.
I mean, with the positive Kickstarter thing, that's always good, I guess. But from what I've seen and what I've read, it's really good. There's some dice rolling. There's a bit of that kind of line of sight stuff. Same with the Infinity, so that's all pretty good. I'm pretty excited by getting. I mean, still in the beta edition for the rule book, so they haven't quite filled it out yet, but it's pretty much there. But as for a second game, I basically started writing a skirmish game a little while back. Sort of a post-apocalyptic, where the world is run by multinational corporations instead of governments.
I remember that video, yeah.
Yeah, and I've been sort of trying to work out some of the kinks at the moment over Easter, and I'm almost there. But it runs off a D10 system. So, I mean, we've been talking a lot about dice with the D20s and D6s and But the reason I chose a D10 was it was nice and easy for people to calculate percentage opportunities of passing and failing, and it gave you a little bit of a wider scope than a D6. And if anyone's ever rolled a D10, it's so satisfying. Like, I now get bored of rolling D6s. It's so nice rolling some D10s.
I think a D10's it almost feels like it's got a bit of weight to it.
Yeah, exactly. It's
Because the
a
edges are
nice
long
roll.
enough. A D20 is more like just rolling a ball and seeing
Yeah,
where it ends up.
that's what
whereas
I thought.
The D20 it thuds.
Yeah, it does.
as
It's
it
nice.
slops.
Very nice.
It's dice physics.
Yes.
Yeah, like a D3 doesn't even roll. So it just
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It just goes dunk, and you're like, oh.
Yeah.
so,
Well, you got to
Same
love
for
the
a
D100 though. You're the old.
Oh,
he was-
Literally isn't.
yeah.
that was Star Wars, wasn't it? That was a BB-8.
Yeah.
Quick poll: people's favourite dice.
To
You
roll.
can join in
Yeah.
the chat, guys.
Yeah.
Mine's got to be probably a D10 to be honest.
Yeah, same here.
D8s are just the wrong shape altogether. It's just
Yeah,
wrong.
diamondy, triangle, lopsided. Nah.
No.
Nah, D10's mine. Hands down.
Yeah, I would say D10 as well.
Is there a science to it then? Is
It's also psychological.
Oh, idea.
have we cracked it like movement trays last week?
Yeah.
I don't think so, because I'm going to say D6.
Yeah.
Ah.
Like, we weren't expecting that.
Add some extra sides on it and you'll be fine.
I think the
There's,
only
there
dice
was
I've ever
one-
rolled in. Sorry,
There
what was
was one game I was going to get into, and that was Necromunda.
That's a good
Yeah,
game.
a long time ago. My buddy had, whatever they are, a team, are they? A team of guys?
Gang.
I don't know if anybody remembers what the teams were, but there was one team where there's like a character who had like a beard, and he was gonna give those to me, and I was gonna paint them all up like Commander Rikers. I was gonna have
Right.
a team.
number two?
Went into his loft to try and find them, and he couldn't find them.
Oh.
So,
Oh.
so I ended up not playing. But I seem to remember in that game, if you like got injured or something, you had to change the model. I don't know if that's right or not. So if like you got your arm
Yes.
blown off, you had to
You
like,
had-
cut the
had, like,
If you
Yeah,
went
I'm
down,
off, Phil.
yeah.
I've played a few games of First Edition Necromunda recently because my friend basically had the rules and said, you know what was great from your childhood? So we ended up playing that. I made myself like a little pit slave gang from it, all cyborgs and stuff that have escaped lobotomization from being a servitor. And it's quite fun. When you get shot and stuff, you have to, depending if you've been wounded or not, you have to place them face down or face on the back. If they're on the back, they're like pinned. If they're on like down in a sense, and it's quite fun. But I would recommend either having a massive game or just have 2 players, because in the past we've played 3 players. I think it must be general for all games, but when you've got 3 players and 3 edges of the board and one guy gets stuck in the middle, it's very hard for the guy in the middle to pull back from anything because he's getting 2 lots of fire from either side. But we had a massive game where it was like 6 players, and we all had small gangs, and the idea was it's a zombie apocalypse. A whole section of Hive's been walled off because some cartel tried to make some fungus drugs from some growing fungus that they didn't really know about, and it all went to hell from there. So they sealed off the thing, and you've got this massive zombie colony in here, and we all ended up dying, but we ended up giving a good fight at the end of the day. It was quite fun. I would do it again if my friend gives the rules. I'd happily post them up.
I think I have seen those. Yeah, Gorkamork is the same. Where if you're downed, you place a model one way or the other, and then at the end you have to roll to see whether they've lost an arm or a leg.
Yeah.
And then you're expected to go off to Cromlech and buy a armoured leg and stick it on your model and paint it up before the next game and all sorts of...
Got to magnetise around the torso. Just.
But you can also get injuries in frostgrave as well. Like you can get a smashed jaw, and then all your spells are like one harder to make, or you can get like a broken ankle where you're slower at running and that sort of stuff.
Harry was
some
telling
really
me, it's
thematic
like,
ones.
Harry was like, yeah, it goes all the way from like broken back to stubbed toe.
Yeah,
And I was just like, that's really cool.
you can lose an eye as well. It's mad.
Are you actually going to gouge it out on a mini?
Well, exactly. Just get a drill,
Yeet.
stick it in.
With GW as well, they're obviously bringing back specialist games as well. So things like Necromunda and Warhammer Quest, that sort of thing, might be coming back very soon as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It'd be interesting to see how much they change those.
Yeah.
Like, whether they go for a complete rewrite or whether they just print off the old rule set.
Yeah, well...
I think that'd be interesting.
Yeah,
I think they'll have to change it to be up with 40k, to be honest.
Probably.
Yeah.
I've been recently playing the Deathwatch Overkill game. And that's a really good game, actually. I wouldn't necessarily call it a skirmish game, but it's basically just a board game as such. But it feels like an updated version of Space Hulk. If they decided to relook at the Space Hulk and so on, it plays like an updated version of Space Hulk.
Okay.
So it's really fun. One of my favourite games is Space Hulk. So I like the way it works. So yeah, so they've done that with Deathwatch and such. So hopefully when they do things like Warhammer Quest, that sort of thing, maybe they'll bring some other mechanics in, like the cards and other actions and so on. So they hopefully update them as well.
That'd be good.
That'd be cool.
Yeah.
There's talk in the chat about Blood Bowl. Now, do we classify like Blood Bowl and Guild Ball and Dread Ball as skirmish games, or have they got their own little section like sports games?
Sports game, yes.
Ball games? I
Board.
don't know.
Yeah, I would say that's a board game.
Board game. All right. Okay.
I mean, if it's played on a board, I would say it's a board game.
Logic.
It's more like a pitch.
So it's a pitch game.
Pitch game.
I almost don't classify them to be board games. It's weird. I think they probably do have their own genre of
Sports pitch game. There we go.
Game.
Yeah.
Sports pitch game. Ball. Fun time.
Skirmish.
Super happy. Yes. Skirmish. Yeah.
You're welcome, Blood Bowl. We're just giving you a genre.
Speaking of which, I've won a Dread Ball team from Spud Tate, the spudliest of Tates, who's now the Viking Wargamer, I think is his new name.
Okay.
So that's coming in the post soon, so that'll be interesting. I'll get that painted up on the channel.
Yeah,
Cool.
I have
That'll
a
come
Dread
thing.
Ball team as well.
You do?
Yeah, I won it as well from Pezapoo.
All right.
It's the rats one, the Skaven type one.
I don't know whether that's a good sign where everybody's got them because they've been given them for free.
No one has ever bought an
Given away.
Full army.
Yes. It's just people palming them off on their mates. Just,
Yeah, it's like,
I was thinking, I've been saving it because my buddy has Blood Bowl, like the really old edition. I have played it once with him, but it was like 10 years or so ago. But I figured that if GW re-released Blood Bowl, he's probably going to get it, and then I can use my Dread Ball team as a proxy Blood Bowl team.
good idea.
I don't know if that would work. I assume it would.
Probably.
I think there's loads of companies that do like
I've got some proxy Blood Bowl players as well.
just anything without a gun, basically. People do fine. But there's loads of companies that do like fantasy Blood Bowl teams, but they do like their own ones. So you can buy like a team of metal miniatures from a third party that work with the rules.
That's pretty cool.
It's interesting. They've all got very strange mechanics where you can like bribe the referee and cheat and stuff. I think it's the same sort of thing with the other games as well. Which is why I think of them more as sports games, because you got free reign of the pitch, and then you got the mechanics where you got the referee, and I don't know.
A dwarven death
Just
roll.
thinking out loud. Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, we all seem to like the same kind of games. It might be a case of lack of exposure to each other's games, to be honest, because I could see myself playing the Batman game, I could see myself playing Dead Man's Hand,
Yeah.
and Lands of Ruin. I looked it up to see who makes it, and it's made by Lands of Ruin. So
Yeah, there you go.
that's it.
Yeah.
They don't have a name other than Lands of Ruin, so
There you have it.
yeah.
I think I saw their Kickstarter as well.
Yeah.
The only thing I didn't think about their Kickstarter was the app was only for sort of Android.
They're coming out with an iOS They had to wait for the Kickstarter to sort of fund the extra bit of project.
Right.
But yeah, I did try it on Android a couple of times because I have a super cheap Android tablet, and it was the tablet that was the main problem. The actual app ran okay, but for scenarios, actually, because you reminded me of the app, they basically update the app with new scenarios, so you can never run out of scenarios to play.
That's pretty cool.
So they've got like 20 in there already, like logged up from various numbers of players to various different like scenario bits, and so yeah, there's a constant catalogue of scenarios, which was kind of cool.
One of the things I tend to like to do is make my own scenarios.
Same here. Yeah.
I had a game of Infinity, and what you can do in Infinity is you can actually hack other people and objects. So if someone's wearing power armor, or if they're in a big like robot, they're actually really heavily armored and awesome at fighting, but they're actually vulnerable to hacking. So you can actually turn them off. So you can just turn the power armor off, and they just basically stop in front of you. And then they've got to try and boot it back up again, or get one of their own hackers to turn it back on. In the case of the big robots, you can actually turn them against their own army.
That's cool.
While the guy's inside just going, why isn't it working? Which I really like the idea of that narrative as well.
Just turn it off and turn it back on again. Fine.
Exactly, yeah. Boot it up. But like Iron Man when he does his boot ups in the films.
Yeah.
But I set up a scenario where one team was trying to get into a building, and they had to hack the door to open it to get inside, and the other team were trying to stop them hacking it and closing it, and it was quite comical. But it's just interesting having like little objectives and making routes through things, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Like in Zombicide, they have coloured doors. I know it's a board game, but they have like a blue door and a blue square, and if you can get to the blue square, then you can open the blue door, which then turns on the blue zombie spawn point.
Okay.
And so on and so forth. So the game evolves just by doing the objectives, which I think is quite funny, quite funny, quite good. If you can get that going, and I think Skirmish Games are especially well suited to that sort of thing.
Yeah, I think
when Craig was going on about exposure to...
Going on.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Oh. Right.
Okay. When Craig was
Point taken.
mentioning exposure to other games and so in terms of types of other games on the system. As you may know, Salute is coming up.
Oh yeah.
Not this week. The following weekend on Saturday.
16th, yeah.
Just 2 weeks.
Yeah, that's a brilliant place to go and sort of have a look at other things in the wargaming markets and so on. So it's good to see other games being played and what's available, that sort of thing. So it's worth going to something like Salute to see what else is available.
Yeah, I mean, the thing that I think I took from Craig's enormously long rant about it all was no, I joke, of course.
It was going on.
Yeah, when it was going on and on. The big thing for me was we have all mentioned these small games, and I'm interested in all of them. And the beauty of it is I could realistically buy into all of them for the same cost as an army for a bigger game.
Yeah.
So if I wanted to get into Dead Man's Hand, for example, I would go onto their website and I could buy a small warband and I could buy the rulebook and I'd be good to go. Whereas if I wanted to get into 40k to play a big game, you got to play a standard game in a shop. It's like 1,500 points, and then you've got to buy the rulebook, the codex, supplements, more models. Whereas small skirmish games kind of play out of the box, which I think
they
is
come with they usually come with cards and things, all the rules on. And...
I mean, X-Wing. I bought the box for X-Wing and played it the same day with my girlfriend. And she has no bearing on like wargaming at all, just not her thing. But she said it was really good fun because it was just small numbers of things. We were both constantly doing something. Yeah. And I think that's where the skirmish games really kind of hit in. They're easy to get into because of the low cost of entry, and they're really kind of like engaging between the two players.
Yeah. It's when you get into Dreadball, you just have to wait for someone to give you a copy.
Yeah,
that's fun.
It's like what I like about Batman is obviously if you play with friends you can bend the rules and stuff here and there, but a lot of it is just very inclusive and just quick pace, so it doesn't feel like it's taken forever. With Go I Go system with 40k, it's like I'll play my horde of orcs and it's like come back in half an hour kind of thing. But with Batman and stuff and other games I've played like Malifaux, it's very quick because you don't feel as if you're losing time when you just activate one miniature. Say, for example, you activate Batman, and Batman's going to use a backclaw to get up a building. You do that, and then that's the miniature's turn over. So then you just go up to the next miniature on your opponent's side, and he just activates a goon who's just going to sprint forward towards an objective. And it feels a lot more quicker because you're not waiting for your opponent per se, as long as you know the rules and stuff. I mean, to the cost about low entry minis, Batman's very cheap to get into. It's usually about 30 quid for a starter set, and then like 12 quid for like a pack blister of 2 henchmen or a special character. But when you play it like me and you've got like 5 gangs, it kind of a bit much. More.
Well, that's it. You say it's easy to get entry into it, but it soon mounts up regardless of what you're trying to do, whether it's terrain or what have you. Buying into Frostgrave, you buy a pack of 20 soldiers, which you're only taking 8 of them because you've got your wizard, your apprentice, and then your 8 soldiers, but you've got a pack of 20 for 20 quid, which are fantastic.
Yeah, I mean, that's 2 armies there, isn't it?
Exactly, yeah. That was the whole idea. I decided to go for the pack of 20 because I knew that if I had a mate coming around and we wanted to have a quick game, I could literally just roll out all of my minis and we'll get on with it. And it's nice and cheap. However, it requires a lot of scenery, as a lot of these skirmish games do, and that's where the cost comes in. I've spent quite a bit of money and quite a bit of time on getting the scenery ready for this. And, I mean, games like Infinity, there's about 8 different armies, main armies, and each one has got, it must be 200 to 300 different models in it.
Yeah.
And you start collecting, like, one of the factions, and before you know it, you've bought all 200 or 300 of these individual miniatures for that, and then you go, oh, I fancy playing a different army, and then before you know it, you've bought 200 to 300 of those minis. So
I
think it takes a lot of willpower to stay with just one faction.
Something I honestly think, I honestly don't think any wargamer can honestly say they've got great willpower. I mean, I've never met anyone who's been able to like fend off the need for models.
It was like, ooh, shiny new.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a plight on all of us.
I know.
Right, just noticed that the time is, we're approaching
Getting
10
on.
o'clock. So
Do you want to go into...
Probably worth throwing it over to the viewers. I'll do this one if you want, unless no one coming up for it. No one wants to do the...
I think I've had my turn.
Transition. Viewer questions.
Time to leave.
So this is the time where we go on to questions from you guys. First one might be how awkward I just made you feel, and
simple answer, not at all.
And do I feel ashamed of myself? Which answer is no.
No.
Right. Does anybody see any questions come up in the chat while we've been on that?
I had an interesting one. It was more of a statement-y kind of thing that I'm going to answer because it came across like a question to me.
Go for it.
Someone said basically they wanted to get into a certain game, but there was no one in their local area who wanted to get into it. And so I guess you could run that as a how do I get people to like it, right? Because I think that's the big thing with skirmish games, especially smaller ones that aren't the mainstream 40k. It's finding someone to play. I mean, I've had that problem with X-Wing because I mean I've got both sides of the force, but still there's not always someone who wants a game. So the big thing I would say is buy 2 small armies.
Yes, buy 2 factions.
And then you're good to go. Paint them both up. And just because then your friend doesn't have to worry about anything other than turning up on the day.
Exactly.
So I think that's a big a tip for anyone who wants to get someone else into a skirmish game is have 2 armies and both fully painted if you can, because that makes it a lot more interesting to look at.
What I did once was because I know my friend was having troubles. Oh, hello, my glasses broke off again.
Oh.
It's what I did once was because my friend was having a bit of money troubles, but he's definitely sold the idea of Batman having these Stephen Amell for Green Arrow fighting against the likes of Heath Ledger's Joker and all that. I bought him the mini leader for Green Arrow, and since then he's still wanting to do it. It's just a problem of attendance because he doesn't come as often as he does because he's got a job on a weekend now. but
Yeah.
he's still very much into it. He still like keeps a log on like all the new releases and all that, and he's still very much wanting to get into it. It's just he's got to wait till Saturdays and stuff. But a way you could try, I know it's very extreme, but a way you could try and get other people in is say, this faction, you like this faction, well, have an early birthday present.
Yeah.
I've done that.
Yeah.
I did that with Infinity. Got somebody to start a box for their birthday or Christmas or something.
Aw.
And
So
then a couple
we saying we should buy stuff, buy friends.
Oh.
it could be seen that way.
Guess what, guys? I'm really interested in all of your games. It was my birthday in December, but I don't mind some belated gifts. It's fine.
Yeah. I think you should only do it if they've got an interest in like that, into wargaming, for example. But they're a bit resilient to moving into different different fields, different games.
Yeah, yeah.
Because they're that way inclined anyway. So
Very true, very true. Wargame is wargaming, you know?
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, because there are often people that are actually interested in, or that are just on the verge of maybe starting in the hobby, but they don't know where to start or whatever. So sometimes people just need that little push, don't they?
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I've been on the cusp of getting into like Dread Ball or Girl Ball or something, and well, it's done now, isn't it?
Yeah,
It's
free
going to happen.
Or is it going to be
Take a load of videos.
re-gifted after 1,000 subs?
When's your birthday, Callum?
Oh, I can't wait.
I have no idea what it
two
is.
teams as well, don't you, Callum?
Sorry?
You need 2 teams as well, don't
Oh, yeah.
Well, of course. I guess I'm off to the shop then.
No. No, you just got to win another competition, that's all.
Ah, of course.
Yeah.
Easily done.
Yeah. So I've got another question here
Oh, dear.
from Shellshock M3. This
Okay.
is the mother of all questions. It
Oh,
is,
okay.
are we allowed to ask questions? No. No. Sorry.
It's questionable.
Yeah.
But,
Working 16 questions.
Yeah. Another one was, can we have the live streamers post link to our channels? I think that's put up in after the video, isn't it?
well, you guys could put your channels. It will definitely be on the recorded version of this. But if you guys want to ping your channels up on the chat, go for it.
I did try, but it won't let me stick a link in there.
Oh no!
So I was going to try and source everyone's, but that's fine.
All your stream will belong to me.
Mwahaha.
Just
Let
click
me
the
see what I can
icon.
do.
Just click the icon in the chat bar.
Oh yeah, of course. Good thinking.
Does that work?
Yeah.
Cool. Well, whilst you're having a think of that, let's get on to the next question, perhaps. So, Aceface, the winner of Adepticon was found to have 1 point too many. He said it was an honest mistake.
Oh,
Should he have been kicked out or kept the win? What would I do, or what would you do? Anyone got any thoughts on that?
Well,
I think
I'm
some-
very surprised
Yeah, sorry.
that would happen. Because aren't the list all vetted beforehand?
that's
Aren't
what
they
I thought. Yeah.
submitted and vetted?
Well, I mean, you'd think
Or is
so,
that
but
not the case?
obviously, if you're
Wasn't
just
to the
scanning
systems.
over it, then
So,
You know.
I mean, if all the lists were submitted, then it's obviously the judge's responsibility. So, I would say that's fine.
Goes
if
down
it
as
was-
a bad reputation for the organisers then. Really,
yeah,
doesn't it?
exactly.
Yeah, that's
it
right,
is their
exactly.
mistake.
But I think, to be fair, 1 point probably wouldn't make any difference anyway. So,
Ace has just said lists are not checked, so.
Alright.
Okay, here's the thing. You got to think: did that 1 point make the difference between him winning and losing? And that's really hard to be able to tell. But I think that's the question you have to ask.
Right, did we want to take more questions, or shall we just sign off?
I think before we end this live chat, I think it might be worth just saying a big thanks to Craig's missus, because it's actually their 6th wedding anniversary. Everyone, round of applause. Yeah, that's right. So
you very much.
congratulations, and I hope you had a lovely day. And a big thanks to her for letting you host this live call.
Yeah.
So there you go.
I'm sure I'm gonna feel it later, but we'll see.
Yep.
There wasn't any hint of annoyance, but I'm sure it was there somewhere.
Deep,
On
deep down.
some deep seething level, there's going to be some
5 weeks down the line, she'll bring it up, and you'll be like, "No,
yeah, resentment. Remember that time?
no."
It'll haunt me for the rest of my days.
Yeah, just thought it'd be nice to mention because congrats.
Thank you very
and-
much.
Yeah, congrats.
Yeah.
Oh,
Well, that's a cheery note to end on, I think.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. So everybody knows where to find everybody. The name of their channels is actually above everybody's face. So if you want to go and check any of us out, we all do wargaming videos for the Legion of Gamza, which is a community group where we basically try and help each other out and keep everybody motivated. Which has led to this, which is a lot of fun when things aren't going completely wrong, as they have this evening more than once. But hey ho, we'll figure out how to get the live broadcast up. Right, so I guess I want to say thank you everybody for watching. Thanks to you guys for coming on, and hopefully we'll see you next time. And like I say, go to these guys' channels. There's some awesome content on there for all sorts of stuff, but mainly wargaming.
Unless you're into
thank you
interpretive
very much.
dance, did someone say
And then
kablams?
and it's all here. It's all here. Right. Thanks everyone, and that is us out. See you guys.
Bye.
Ta-da.
See you later.